Hey guys, Brad Gilmore here. Want to give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Walker Texas Lawyer. If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident, whether that be a car, truck, motorcycle accident, or some kind of other issue, hit up Walker Texas Lawyer at 713-552-1117 or walkertexaslawyer.com.
Oh, Brad, what have you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Matthew McConaughey.
Brad Gilmore.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Jessica Alba and Lizzie Matheson. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Kevin Costner joins us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Chris Tucker is in the building. Chris Tucker, good morning to you.
Hey, Brad, and good morning to you. How are you?
George Lopez joins us right now. George, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What lovely to talk to me. Funny lad.
Megan Trainor.
Thank you so much, Brad. You're awesome.
Chloe Bailey joins us. I appreciate the time.
Appreciate you.
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat.
Brad Gilmore! So excited to be talking to my guest on the line right now. His new memoir is called Damn Glad to Meet You, My 7 Decades in the Hollywood Trenches. The one and only Tim Matheson joins us this morning. Tim, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, Brad. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. You know what? Congratulations on the book. I really have fun listening. I've been listening to the audiobook version of it, and it's such a great, well-produced audiobook and a great written book as well. But I wanted to ask you about the title. Explain it to the folks. Damn Glad to Meet You, 7 Decades in the Trenches of Hollywood. Because to me, you haven't been in the trenches, man. You've been in some of the most iconic television shows and movies of all time. And I'm kind of curious of the title.
Well, Damn Glad to Meet You was I think one of my first lines in Animal House that my character Otter had to all the pledges to the fraternity. Hi, Eric Stratton, Rush Chairman. Damn glad to meet you. So, and it's perhaps one of the most iconic characters that I played. So I wanted to quote something from Animal House, I think. And that was about the only line I could find that we could actually put on the cover of a book. So, we were an R-rated movie, so there were a few lines we said, well, that'll never go.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But why the Hollywood trenches? Why you describe it in that way?
Well, I think, it was the lessons I've learned, in 60 plus years, and it's 6.5 decades really. But I was lucky enough to be a kid actor and work with people like Lucille Ball and Jackie Gleason, Bob Hope from a previous generation, people who'd worked in vaudeville, through Kurt Russell to Clint Eastwood and Mel Brooks and Anne Bancroft and all the people. I was fortunate enough to work with Steven Spielberg. So I just wanted to recount those times, the lessons I learned, the way the business has stayed the same and different. But also, I think it applies to any job, that we have, that, you have to work with other people and get along. And the team makes a better show or a better job or a better product than one individual, So I had to learn, sometimes against my own stubbornness, to work better with other people.
When you kind of go through the book and you have all these great stories of people that you just mentioned right there, you've already talked about Animal House. Did you enjoy, though, the writing process itself? Because I'm a writer as well, and I wrote a book a few years ago, and I think it's the most difficult thing that I've ever done in my life. I hated it kind of during the process of it, was so relieved when it was finished. What was your experience of writing the book itself?
Oh, you're absolutely right, Brad. I mean, it's very difficult. But it was also, in a way, for especially a memoir, it's a confessional, and it's also psychotherapy. And so it's and one memory triggers another one, and you sort of, and I was discovering a bunch of stuff about myself that I had long forgotten or just put aside in my memory, and so that was rewarding and refreshing, but I just discovered sort of the things that I had learned in my career, and I wanted to pass them along to younger people in any profession, because really the main secret to my career was you're going to get knocked down. So how are you going to get back up? I mean, it's like a 12-round, prize fight, and you will get knocked down. And from my family to Lucille Ball and Clint Eastwood, the lessons are: how are you going to recover? What's next? What are you going to do next? How are you going to turn this corner? So that was the lesson really I wanted to teach just to anybody and everybody in any job.
Well, what was great too is you have this story regarding Lucille Ball, who's perhaps the funniest woman that's ever graced the planet, and such a talented actress and comedy legend. And she said something to the effect of, when you did, I think it was Yours, Mine, and Ours, if you want to be a star, you got to act like a star. Was the advice that she gave you. I'm paraphrasing there. But just to have those interactions with someone like her, or Bob Hope, like you said, Jackie Gleason, Mel Brooks, these comedy icons, but you didn't really see yourself as a comedic performer really until Animal House, right? I know you were taking improv classes. You really pushed to get that role in that movie. They wanted to give it to Chevy. You ended up getting it. But do you feel like you almost like subconsciously learned all these great comedy lessons and how to deliver that dialogue from working with those greats?
Absolutely. I mean, when I was doing Animal House, there were certain scenes. I was more of a verbal comedian, but I knew the clothes I was wearing in certain scenes were comedic clothes. The golf pants that I wore and the plaid blazer that I had. I mean, in the courtroom scene. And the scene I did with Mrs. Wormer when I seduced her was all physical comedy, and I had, like, Lucy was sitting on my shoulder encouraging me and goading me to go along with it, because there were a bunch of little mistakes in the scene that turned out to be priceless physical jokes, and it was really the training I got from Lucy. Don't cut this tape, just keep going, you work with that, use that. And it was a lesson working with her that just stayed with me throughout my career.
Now, you talk about, you thought you were more of a verbal comedian and delivering the dialogue in the right way. You're a part of the West Wing, and to me, Aaron Sorkin and Quentin Tarantino, I think, are the two best at dialogue, at least in my opinion. But man, Aaron Sorkin can write dialogue, and he's really loves his words, as he should, because they're so great. But I know I've heard actors talk about kind of those scripts can be somewhat intimidating at times to get all of that great verbiage out. Did you find yourself enjoying the challenge of the Sorkin dialogue?
Absolutely. It is intimidating, and it is a challenge, and it demands the most of you as an actor, because Aaron also has pace. It's, that's why those walk and talks through the West Wing were so exciting, because it's a one take thing. You're both, two people in a scene talking as fast as you can, and with all these people moving around you, and it was always a challenge, and they would not allow you to change one word. I think I got a comment from the script supervisor at one point. She said, "That is a semicolon, not a period." So I said, "Oh, an upward inflection. Okay."
Well, I have to ask you, because I'm sure you talk about so many of the great projects that you've been on, but I have 3 favorite movies, and they all were released in the same year, and you're involved in one of them, and that's 1985's Fletch. Fletch is my favorite movie of all time. I can quote it up and down, and I probably do on a daily basis. But, you play Alan Stanwyck, of course, and you and Chevy, I just feel in that very opening scene, the first 10 minutes of the movie, I guess y'all spend together. And it's such a great film. Did you enjoy kind of working? Do you want to talk about improv and working on that skill? I'm sure Chevy gave you a lot of stuff on that script, on that movie.
Chevy was great, and he was trying to challenge himself as an actor, and to stick to the script. I mean, the director wanted Chevy to do the first few takes we had to do like the script was, and then we could play. And then when we got into his close-ups, he really liked to play. And he said to me, "You can say anything you want to me when you're off stage, camera, when his camera's close up on me. Say anything, try and make me laugh, make me, just to confuse me." Because he wanted real reactions to off-stage dialogue. So I just gave him hell off stage at his behest when we were shooting. And he was fun. He was just a ball to work with.
I mean, just silly moments in that movie. I know at one point you say, "You do have gloves, don't you?" And he says, "I rent them. I have a lease with an option to buy." And it's just like, these just great moments.
And some of those could be ad libs. That might have been an ad lib take, or some of that dialogue possibly in the script. I don't recall, but because Sheffield would just go off. He was brilliant.
Brilliant. Well, the book is called Damn Glad to Meet You, My 7 Decades in the Hollywood Trenches, a great memoir by Mr. Tim Matheson. Tim, really appreciate you taking some time this morning. Congratulations on the book and your incredible career.
Brad, thank you so much, and thank you, Houston and Nashville.